Hey everyone, just wanted to go live quickly. I participated in another public, so-called public hearing of the Mayor's Advisory Committee on the Judiciary. Give a few minutes for people to join. That's the building, 100 Church Street. I went live before, but they shut me down inside the building. I was here alone, like the last time. It's unbelievable. There's more important judges appointed for the giant city of New York. 15 million people, I believe. That's what their numbers say. Anyway, at the time is 9:58. They finished before the hour. Was another hearing. It's called public hearing of the Mayor Adams, any mayor of the City of New York Advisory Committee on the Judiciary. These are 19 members. There's supposed to be 19 members who recommend the judges for all three major branches of the judiciary in New York City: civil court, criminal court, and family court. They hold these public hearings less regularly now, but this is something that I attended about a year ago. The committee refuses to proactively push the notifications about these. That's the entrance, so maybe we'll see the newly appointed judges soon. The committee refuses to provide prior notifications proactively. You cannot sign up for an email list, so you need to check every time, but basically go every couple of days on their website to see if they're scheduled something. So I was lucky to catch the recent one. They give just a couple business days for the public to provide their opposition or their opinions. Of course, it's all by design to minimize the time to see, minimize the time to organize. It overlaps with the weekend. It overlapped with the Jewish holiday of Shavuot, 2 days recently. And even if you file an objection or any public comment, they don't guarantee that you will be allowed to speak. To their credit, I would say that I was allowed to speak. I did not know until the last moment, but I was able to catch the chairman of the head of the committee, Silver, and literally at 10 a.m. I was notified that I will be allowed to speak. Anyway, it was a usual farce. The committee consists. That's Judge Jolie. She's the chief administrative judge of New York. The black lady there. She has security detail. Why? It's a public court, right? They perform public service. She has a driver. She has two, I think, security guards. Okay, very good. Nobody tries to do anything but just publicly expose. She was smiling the whole time when I was speaking. She was sending amazed glances at the chair Silver, as if asking, like, why is this guy allowed to speak, or why for so long? So, but anyway, I was able to say my piece. They're driving away. Nobody has any ill intent beyond the fact that this cesspool has to be fully exposed, and they have to be peacefully fired and held accountable for the thousands of lives of New Yorkers that they ruin administratively, with or without supervision. Basically, they do whatever they want. But coming back to my narrative, so it's the same farce. Instead of 19 judges, there was only 19 members of the committee, each one of whom has six-figure salary by New York, City of New York and New Yorkers. One chair Silver, was there. Nobody else was present. I actually posed this issue directly. I said, okay, so you allowed me to state my objections, but there's no indication that anyone will actually see them, will actually consider them. Yeah, I don't see you gathering together, taking in the new information and making decisions. It's all a farce, and there's no quorum. So without a quorum, again, the committee of 19 members, no decision made here is legal. Of course, I was ignored. I have personal knowledge of two candidates, two nominees actually, and they, at least one of them, kept referring to herself as an appointee. So they know that it's all in their pocket. But I knew two of the nominees, Judge Jacqueline Cabrera. I had her in my case. She violated my rights through and through. She denied me a jury trial, which is guaranteed in the United States Constitution, not once but twice. In the Sixth Amendment, the Seventh Amendment, she violated my right to due process. She did not hold one in-person hearing. All was virtual. In fact, it was the first time that I saw her in person. Actually, I didn't see her face. I saw the back of her head. She did not even look me in the face, or anyone for that matter. And another candidate appointee was future Judge Scott Schwartz, whom I saw as a court watcher for another case, another father. He was not prepared. He actively participated in separating a loving daughter from a loving father, and now he's going to be a judge. This whole farce lasted less than an hour. Unlike the prior time I was allowed in the main room, I was surrounded by security the whole time. It's just unbelievable how much they fear the public. Just another father joined me. I posted the previous live with him. Maybe he'll come out of the building, so he'll join the live stream. But my objections, obviously, like anyone else's, did not go anywhere. I know that another father, Anthony Sibeli, submitted his objections. They were not even mentioned on the record. A couple other points that I made, of course, and I showed everyone the picture of the swinger Cynthia Lopez, who is one of the outcomes of the processes of this committee. She's a swinger. She's a judge in Bronx. Just unbelievable. So this is the quality of judges. She reached out. It's a famous story. You can look on my Facebook page. She was caught by a female litigant whom she reached, essentially hitting on her through a website, and nothing happened to her. She's still a judge. She was just removed from the case, or rather recused herself, but she's still a judge in New York Family Court, and that's despite the fact that according to Family Court Act, these judges are supposed to present good moral character and all other empty words, like the U.S. Constitution that they made empty. The entrance for those joining, the entrance to the administrative building. They actually moved the hearings to make it harder for the public to join. There's a security desk there. They take your picture, they take your ID, and it's a whole process to get upstairs on the 12th floor. Another security layer there, and it's a farther room. It's a small room, so everything is done with possible deniability in order to prevent the public from participating and actually letting us be heard. The problem is the public is not joining. So unfortunately, in a giant city, I see myself, and last time was joined by Charlie Schultz. This time is another father. But it's just unbelievable how apathetic people are with their own rights. Thanks everybody. Thank you, Vladislav, for joining. Thank you, Faith. Thank you, other people who are here. I cannot check. I'll check it later. Couple other issues that I mentioned. So the notice of the hearing is not given proactively. There's no quorum. The committee, according to their own law, according to which they operate, is supposed to hold public hearings on the process of selecting judges, not just selecting the judges, but the process of selecting judges. And they don't do that. They admitted in their letter to me that in over a decade, and I'm sorry, but you can hear the New York vibe here. Quite a nice day. But they admitted that they never held a public hearing, actually on the process of selecting the judges. Instead of just selecting the judges, they just ignore their own law. Sorry for the noise here. Let me check the comments. Picture and editorial. Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Faith. Michael saying, keep up the fight, brother. Thank you very much. This is clear abuse of power, clear tyranny. This is New York. Gridlock traffic. Let them pass. I see people come and go, but I appreciate everyone who joins, those who will watch the live stream later. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that all these very clear constitutional abominations, it's just a farce. I presented it. Was supposed to be a public hearing. They do not notify the public well in advance. They do not provide the notifications proactively. The public doesn't know. They give a very tight deadline. It's even if the public provides objections like I did in this case, the committee is not there, and 19 members, only one was present, and also the administrative director Ayana Soret. The committee is not there to consider. It's all predetermined. The farce is exemplified by the fact that the chair of the committee, Silver, administers the oath before they are even appointed by the mayor. At least wait for the mayor. At least the mayor should administer the oath. So it's all such a farce. It's just unbelievable. They of course promote the feminist anti-father agenda. I said it on the record. Through these appointments, there's no indication that all of the judges, family court, at least prior to that, have a family, have children. One of the judges, a male judge, whom I don't know, mentioned his girlfriend. So he lives apparently with a girlfriend, and he will now be deciding the fates of families. Another judge, not a judge of family court, a female judge, mentioned her wife. So a female judge thanked her wife. So these are the woke policies shoved on the New York population through the courts. It has to be public, has to be known whether it's okay or not. It's for each and everyone to decide. I personally think that the childless judges should not be anywhere near making decisions about children. I quoted the famous Judge Judy, who also stated on record, and she also she's interviewed for an upcoming documentary. Stay tuned for that, saying exactly the same thing. They do not allow recording. They do not allow even taking pictures. When I asked why other people were taking pictures, another guard, I have his name, he was polite, but still a regime server, as we know. They just follow orders, or they are family members. So family members are allowed to take pictures, and I have recognized journalists and a person with thankfully a large following on social media. I'm not allowed to report to the public what's going on. Again, nobody wishes anything ill through these so-called judges. They just need to be held accountable for the countless families that they ruin. I fully intend. I just don't have time to do that, and as you can see, I'm the only one, unfortunately, shining light on so many layers of the slimy corruption. I need to file a federal lawsuit against them for blatantly violating their own laws. There's no quorum. They don't let the public effectively object or provide any input. They never got the committee on the point of the process of judicial nominations. The judges who they appoint are, many of them are clearly unfit. The case of Janet McFarland, against whom there are now 2 federal complaints in the Eastern District of New York. The judge Cynthia Lopez, Judge Alison Hamanjan, who was removed and moved to the Bronx County, and Judge Anne-Marie Julie was there. So everybody knows what's going on. The tyranny is so complacent. It's so blatant. They're more amused actually by the fact that I come there and speak. They let me speak because they know that they are completely protected as nomenclatura. And even if you go to federal court basically does nothing. The cases of pro se litigants in New York against New York judges end up in Eastern District of New York. Many of them end up in front of Judge Anne Donnelly, who is herself former state judge, still receiving state pension. We'll see how these cases go. Sorry, New York for you. A couple other things, as long as they're fresh in my memory. One of the judges of the appellate division, Judge Miller, was there. I shook his hand. Actually, he, in that sense, he was more courteous, but he refused to talk. He came there to congratulate the nominees, the appointees, as they say. Chief Supervising Judge of Richmond County. So not necessarily family court. Family court has a new supervising judge, Judge Ben Darville. So the judge of the civil court was there. He did not even look me in the eye. I asked if we can have a meeting. He can please acknowledge me. With a grin, he said, no, I don't have to acknowledge you, and just pass right by. So these are your public servants, and these are the people that get astronomical salaries to ruin families and children. So let me go through the comments and see. Viridiana, thank you for joining. Mr. Sobolev, appreciate your work as well. Let's see who else is here. Miro, thank you very much. Joining all the way from Poland, I assume. Michelle, thank you very much. Jan, I don't remember which state you are in, but thank you very much for joining. I assume more people will be watching. Thank you. The families and dignitaries are piling out. It took them a long time to tap themselves on the shoulder.
I think up to the right.
Yeah, so doing public work that nobody else is doing. Judge Cabrera mentioned her husband and her daughter. Another judge who was appointed did not mention any such close family member, as well as a male judge who mentioned his girlfriend, and a female judge. She was either criminal court, I believe, who mentioned her wife. So there you go, folks. Those of us who did not choose to be members of the liberal cesspool of New York, social giant, social engineering experiment, are still enjoying who were dragged by Title 40 here as slaves. That's the lady, she's coming out. It's good for the public to see. Congratulations, Judge. Yes, this is the judge who thanked her wife and referred to herself as an appointee.
See you next time.
Yes, officer.
Right.
That's a guy, Greek family name. Unbelievable. Very sad that I'm the only one covering that, but I am a Jew. I know how this movie ends. I saw the movie, I know how it ends. Bolsheviks and Nazis decimated my family, and it all starts with acquiescence. Nobody stands up, nobody voices an objection. We still have the First Amendment apparently in America, but unless we use it, we'll lose it, exactly like we lost our jury trials in family court. And they tell you with straight face, while the jury box is on the left side of them, right side of them, in the same courtroom, that no, you don't have the right to a jury trial. It's a court of equity, and that's of course a distinction that they invented, because both the Sixth and Seventh Amendment and the Declaration of Independence held the right to a jury trial in such a high regard, was of such importance that it was mentioned twice, precisely because it was supposed to serve as a barrier between the oppressed Americans, or potentially oppressed Americans, very much oppressed today, and the government. So we were supposed to be judged by juries, not by judges. And the fact that the government and the judges now have the audacity to take the kids away without a jury, de facto take them away, minimize the time in order to bypass the very limited protections that are still remaining, it's just atrocious. And they tell you that with a straight face. Yes, let me go to the comments. Yes, they want the picture and ID. Before that, these hearings, before I started covering them, they were held in another building with a more spacious room, much less security. I respect security. You know, some people might be unruly given everything that many of them go through. But they moved it here to the 12th floor. It's a giant building, of course, no parking, making it as inconvenient as possible. Oh, Jen, thank you very much. So Jen is joining from Oslo, from Norway. Same extreme system, Norway. John, thank you very much. John is joining from Nevada. Yeah, speaking about his case in Clark County. Michelle is saying this is global. They don't follow any law. It's global, I would even say globalist. It's very clear that's part of the same globalist agenda, destroying families, destroying men in particular. And I know that some women are thrown under the bus as well for plausible deniability, but it's obviously it's a globalist agenda. If you destroy the fathers, you free the path, clear the path for the tyrants to the women and children, and that's what they are doing. Just as the victims of Beria, Lavrenti Beria, the second in command of Stalin. You cannot ask the victims because there are thousands of them, not hundreds, are buried under his villa in Moscow, and that's where this communism usually ends. Jen is saying, I'm Christian, I love Jewish people. Doesn't matter, they don't differentiate. It's actually very sad. I said it to the chair right in his face. His name is George Silver. He's clearly a Jew. He's a secular Jew. And that's an important distinction for many non-Jews to understand. Maybe I should do a live or a post on that dedicated. But he's not the Yarmul Kaverian Jew. He's a secular Jew. And the fact that these people are, many of them actually are in positions of power, it's not necessarily a sign of their achievement, which these government servants, stooges, don't understand. They will be thrown away as soon as the real people in power feel the need to protect themselves. They have multiple layers of barriers of protecting the narrative, protecting themselves, and the fact that they behave in such an atrocious way, blatantly violating the Constitution, blatantly violating their own law, just making this whole process a farce, less than an hour. They let me speak. Nobody considers what I had to say. This is all predetermined. The chair of the committee administers the oath before they're even appointed. They ignore the evidence of horrible judges like Janet McFarland. They ignore the facts of multiple federal complaints submitted against them, the publicity, many people against McFarland, for example, over 15 public victims, maybe not as public as myself, but definitely public with names and everything, so public, came out. I published evidence of illegal payments, not to mention political payments made by McFarland, including to Mayor de Blasio, who actually ended up appointing her, and payments exchanged between her court attorney, Paula Bondad, and her former court attorney, Sukaina Sorori. I posted all that after I made the complaint. I sent it to the CGC, which is another useless decoy, headed by Robert Tembekjian, who is a member of a shady fund in Armenia, out of all places, which is unbelievable, and also a public worker who got, I believe, about $3 million, more than $1 million just in public salary. So he is the supervising entity, not a judge. Yes, an attorney. Just unbelievable. Read all about that. I post about that. So the public sees so many. I was speaking about the Jewish. Unfortunately, I'm Jewish. I'm speaking about the anti-Semitism that these people actually promote by being so blatantly lawless and just ignoring the Constitution, which is part of the design. This is part of the design because those who are in control in this matrix, they want to divide and conquer, and anti-Semitism is one of the key methods which is being stoked, being promoted and instigated. And these people who think that they are temporarily in power, they just serve inadvertently or just out of stupidity, arrogance, and pride, operative word, they promote all that. Okay, let me go through other comments. Lance is saying, same in Texas, land of the free, home of the brave. Texas is astonishing. Texas, I lived in Texas for a couple of years, and many people think that Texas, like Florida, by the way, it's a separate topic. They think that Texas is a free state, it's a conservative state. Texas has promoted the bill that allowed the judges to reduce the sentence of fathers jailed for unpaid child support. Can you believe that? I made multiple posts because it's so important. So what happens is that bill did not become a law. It was essentially like a test that they threw to the public, right? And luckily there was some outrage. But the fact that the state and representatives of the state, so-called public representatives, allowed themselves to do that. So just understand that father is jailed for unpaid child support, which they, of course, the courts impose on fathers not to choke them, right? It's impossible to pay. They want to impoverish you so you cannot fight, and then they throw you in jail, right? In violation of fundamental principle of the United States Constitution, which outlawed debtor's jail. But if a person is thrown in jail, father, usually, because fathers are the payers, and if you take the money from fathers, that's how you maximize title for the matching by the federal government. If a father is in jail, one of the ways that were supposed to be prescribed in law to reduce the sentence, is to neuter himself. So, and vasectomy is actually mentioned in that bill. It's unbelievable. So, if a person voluntarily undergoes a vasectomy, then a judge would have the power to reduce the sentence. This is unbelievable. This is Texas, people. This is Texas. Not to mention that Texas is where the case of Jeff Younger, a horrible case where one of his twin boys is being forcefully castrated into a girl in full support by the government behind the scenes, making payments to one of the largest law offices in Texas. So Texas is a key battleground for social engineering, while keeping the appearance to the fortunately stupid population that it's conservative. Because everywhere no one cares. Listen, Johnny, we care, right? We care. Okay, let me see what Mira is writing from Poland. By the way, it's a separate topic, so you see, like, just on this stream, I have representatives of multiple states, but not only states. So Norway, Poland. I am fortunate to have fathers from Japan, from Netherlands, from UK, of course, from Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Israel. It's everywhere. And that's very important to understand, to explain. I don't believe anyone in the world actually covers that. I'm not trying to take points of pride to myself, but it's just unbelievable. Nobody covers that. And even when people speak about the parental alienation and narcissism, right? Nobody mentions the government. It's the government doing that. They utilize female nature, human nature, and nobody dares to talk about that as of the fact that it's global. So, coming back to your question, Miro. Yes, Mira, those who want can read it, but yeah, you clearly misunderstand. So this is Mayor's Advisory Committee on the Judiciary. Another farce. Oh, very nice. Yes, hidden police car. The government hides in order to entrap you. So appropriate. Michelle is saying, I was never involved in family courts and I care. We follow enrollment for a few years. 2 years. Thank you very much, Michelle. Support is very important, and that's what protects me and my children from even further, more egregious retaliation. But basically that's it for today. Maybe I'll do another stream or a summary post. Again, I'm here in Manhattan, 100 Church Street. That's where the public hearing, so-called hearing of the Mayor's Advisory Committee on the Judiciary was held. This is the most important body that appoints judges in New York. 4 family court judges were appointed. The fact that they go to family court was hidden in the announcement. They were presented as the interim civil court judges. I believe that in the past, at least they mentioned in parentheses that interim civil court means family court. But They hide it. I knew that that's family court because I'm familiar with two names, but just a regular member of the public who maybe experienced family court, they just by reading the announcement they would never know. I stated in front of the committee that they don't have the power to make the interim civil appointments or recommendations. Of course, it was ignored. It has to be addressed in federal court. I just don't have the time. Nobody else is doing that, but it has to be done in order to expose that. And what they do, they appoint them as if for a temporary period of a year, and then they just smoothly sail into a full-time role. And in New York, it's 10 years. So they get 1 year and then 10 years. And the more elected judges, so-called elected, they get 14 years. It's just unbelievable creeping tyranny, because it all started in New York as constitutionally limited terms of 3 years. But that's also another topic. So the layers of this corruption, the ways in which they created this web of deception and creeping communism, in which they arrived to their ability to take children away with zero responsibility, with no jury trials, with zero oversight. It was created, this network, this web was created for many, many years. Nobody exposed that, nobody opposed that. Unlike, for example, Second Amendment, which people did protect to some extent. And by the way, federal court is another attack on the Second Amendment as well, because once they issue an order of protection, automatically suspends your Second Amendment. So don't underestimate this prong of what has been done here. But there's so many layers. It doesn't matter where you start. We need to expose that, and if nobody does that, I will do it. That's my duty. That's my duty as a descendant of people who were decimated by tyranny, and now it's creeping and it's coming in the United States as well. That's the unfortunate reality. Michelle, thank you very much. We will everyone continue to watch. They are showing themselves. They're showing because we expose them. So thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate everybody who joined. Those who will join, please share. Please support my work as much as you can. I do appreciate it. Unfortunately, out of millions of New Yorkers and millions of victims, and I understand that not everybody has the level of eloquence, despite my accent, level of understanding, of knowledge. We should see much more public involvement, but it is what it is. And as I heard in my my younger years, this is what it is, and we'll win with that. Thanks so much, everyone, and I'll see you in the next live.